Hello, my name is Sally Pinto, and I'm the Program Director for the Yonkers NORC, Neighborhood Naturally Occurring Retirement Community. We serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We are under the auspices of WJCS and the Yonkers Office for the Aging. We also have a resource specialist and a nurse on staff. We conduct virtual programming in partnership with the Yonkers Public Library on a daily basis. Enjoy the program.
All right, so as always, if you need any extra levels of support, so pillows, blankets, anything, and just we'll think of it as a way to fill the space between your body and the floor. And especially if you've been more active lately, going outside and walking or just being outside in general, always feel free to add those props in, and you can always play with taking them out a little bit as we hold the postures. So we'll start seated today. And actually, let's just bring our legs straight out in front of us. So you can always sit up on a pillow or a blanket, so that way your hips are a little elevated. But then as you start to come into the seated position with your legs out in front of you, it doesn't matter if your legs are all the way together, if they're apart, if they're somewhere in the middle. I just want you to find a place where you can kind of release that a little bit and let the legs go. And you might even just gently bring your hands behind you or by your side, just to give you a little bit of support. So I don't want you to feel like you're trying to fall a little bit forward or fall back. I want you to kind of hover right around the middle. So really use your hands for support so you don't have to hold too much in the legs. And your head can be in a neutral position, maybe gently looking forward or just closing your eyes or softening your gaze. Sometimes moving around a little bit or wiggling a little bit can help the body release and let go. Even if you're using the hands to just gently support you, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Release the jaw. Just beginning to settle into your body today. Start to notice your breath. And take your inhales in through the nose. Exhales to let the air go all the way out of the mouth. You may notice just by bringing your awareness to your breath that it gets a little bit deeper, a little bit more intentional. But don't worry too much about making your breath deeper and longer and more powerful. Just allow it to be more intentional. So just observing the inhales and observing the exhales, which we don't really do when we're moving throughout our day. And I like you to keep your eyes closed And you can start to bring your hands in front of you. I don't care where your legs are at. Leave them where they are, whether they're closer together or further apart. But just start to lean a little forward. Hinge a little bit at the hips. You can rest your arms on your legs. You can keep your head and neck in a neutral position, or let the head get really heavy and let the chin fall to your chest. If, as you begin to lean forward, you're experiencing any pain, not discomfort, if you're a little bit uncomfortable, that's actually okay. You might just kind of back up a little bit and slowly move into a little bit more. But if you're feeling any pain, if there's just too much happening in the backs of the legs, go ahead and slide some of your props just like underneath the knees. It can help lift the legs a little bit, so it's not putting too much of an extra stretch in the hamstrings, but it is still stretching them. And as you gently round the spine, feel as if you're trying to separate the vertebrae. So just creating a little bit of breathing room at each disc of your spine. As we continue to hold, you might play with hinging at the hips a little bit more or rounding the spine a little bit more. Always checking in with your body. We're always looking for that Goldilocks spot. So not too much, not too little, just right. So we're not trying to avoid sensation. We're not trying to push our sensation beyond our max. We're just in the middle. One more breath here. Not going to come out of it yet, but all you're going to do is just gently rotate the upper body over the right leg. So just creating a little bit more space on the left side of your body. Just finding a place where your arms can relax a little bit. Nice and slow, let your upper body come back to the middle and move over the left leg. And it doesn't matter how far it goes, we're just adding a little bit of a side body stretch and sensation into this pose. Ooh. Last few rounds of breath here. As you take your next breath, come all the way back to the middle. Take a full inhale and exhale here. And slowly start to bring yourself up. Really feel your spine lift nice and tall. And you might even find a couple of side leans here. And then just kind of getting the spine moving. So you're kind of rinsing out that nice deep fold. And allow your hands to just come behind you and lean back into the hands and feel your heart open up. Let's come right into a little bit of a counter pose, a counter stretch for the spine. And slowly start to drag the legs all the way towards each other. And then you can cross the legs, however is comfortable. Let's reach the arms all the way up to the sky. And take a twist over to the right. Feel your spine grow tall. And then feel like you're rinsing out the spine a little bit. Reach the arms all the way back up. And let's twist to the other side. Start to come all the way back to the middle. Reach your arms up tall. Take a deep stretch, like you just woke up. Really stretch the side body. And then relax the arms by your side. And go ahead and bring the soles of the feet towards each other. So the knees are wide. Finding butterfly legs. Again, you can add some support underneath the knees or the thighs. You can play with how close the feet are to you or how far apart they are from you or how far away from you they are. And stay seated up nice and tall. So really feel like there's a string at the top of your head and it's just gently reaching up to the sky. And keep your gaze and your eyes soft. You can stay up nice and tall or start to lean a little forward. Yogi's choice. But this time, as you lean forward, try not to round into the spine as much as we did for that first fold we did today. Kind of think that you're keeping your spine at more of a neutral position. You're never trying to straighten the spine because our spine has a natural curve along it. But that neutral is just kind of finding that place, that comfortable place where the spine still has those natural ins and outs, while still feeling like we're growing a little bit taller. So think more of that lengthening as just creating a little bit of breathing room between each vertebrae, each part of your spine. Last couple of rounds of breath here. Slowly start to bring yourself up. Bring your hands behind you. You still got your butterfly legs. Your knees might lift up a little bit, that's okay. Just start to plant the soles of the feet onto the ground. So you're still keeping your knees bent, but you'll walk your feet a little bit wider. And then begin to windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And just observe and notice. And start to bring yourself all the way up again. You might slide your feet a little bit forward. And let's just take a butterfly leg with just our left leg. So pretend like you're trying to set up for that butterfly again, but we're only doing it on one side. And then walk your right foot out to the right side. And instead of the outside of the leg coming to the floor, you're actually going to sit on your left hip and let the inside of your right leg come onto the floor. So if you've been sitting on a blanket or a pillow, you might stay there. Or you might kind of play with those props a little bit more. You might bring something underneath the left knee or the right knee. If there's pain in the knees, especially that right knee, I want you to just straighten the leg. I don't want you to be in that internal rotation. So kind of take a moment, check in if something's coming up for you there, if it's discomfort because you don't sit like this a lot, or if there's pain, especially if you've had any stuff going on in your knees ever. So it's okay if your right hip is off the ground a little bit. You don't need to force it down. You really want to feel like you're kind of firmly rooted into your left glute, like right in that sit bone. And your body probably naturally started to kind of pick a direction that it wants to go. So I actually just want you to let your body pick that direction and stay with it. For me, I'm just kind of over my left shin. You are welcome to stay here. Or, and I want you to think of this like pigeon pose, except our legs are a little different, but you're just gonna start to fold forward. It doesn't matter how far you go. If you've got more props, you're always welcome to kind of make a little tower with your props and lean on those. And always lean on your hands. Even if that right leg is straight, you're gonna still keep that focus like you're turning over the left leg. If there's no pain in that right knee, I really do challenge you to stick with this. We don't come into an internal rotation a lot with the legs, and it's always good to mix up where we're at and where we're holding. bringing yourself back to the intention of your breath. Last few rounds of breath here. After your next breath, nice and slow, start to bring yourself all the way up. Best way to come out is to lift the right leg first. So you can place the foot back on the floor, bring your hands behind you. So you can lean into the hands and place both feet on the floor. You might windshield wiper a few times, or you might just go ahead and we'll switch the other side. So this time, find that butterfly leg with the right leg. So doing the other side is the counter of this pose. And then you can start to walk the left foot out to the left side and let the inside of the leg come onto the floor. So you can go ahead and kind of sit heavy on the right hip and the right glute. will likely feel a little different. So when you first arrive, just kind of check in, see what's going on. If you need to, you can straighten the left leg again. Really only if there's pain happening in the left knee. If it's kind of just discomfort, that's totally normal. You don't really go for this shape a lot. And then begin to just kind of lean forward. Reconnecting to the intention of your breath. So a few more rounds of breath here. So feel free to play with taking it a little further. Nice and slow as you take your next breath. Just begin to bring yourself up. Bring your left knee up first. Let your right knee follow along. And let's straighten the legs. They've been bent for a while now. Shake them out. Rinse them out. Begin to lay onto your back. So coming all the way to lay down. And I always say when you first arrive in a new position, you can wiggle around as much or as little as your body needs. Just kind of check in, see what it needs. And just allow your hands to rest on your belly. Start to find some stillness whenever you feel ready. Keep the feet flat on the ground or lengthen the legs long. Just finding a place to pause. Before we add any other shapes here. Start to bring your arms out into a T. So it doesn't matter where your legs are at. But just take those arms wide. Whether you've been meaning to or not, you've probably been putting a little bit of pressure into the hands. So hold yourself up in the folds in the first half of class. Let's just take a little bit of time to rinse all of that action out. No matter where your legs are, I want you to plant your right foot on the floor and lengthen your left leg out long. And pause. And then extend your right arm up. So it's still going to stay on the ground, but you're going to reach it above your head instead. So whether it's an I or a Y or a cactus, just feel like you're trying to create a little bit more space in your armpit. start to straighten your right leg. So both legs are down to the floor. Take a pause here, a breath. And then begin to bend your left leg so the left foot comes onto the floor. Bring your right arm back into a T shape. And then begin to create some space in the armpit on your left side. Last couple of rounds of breath here. And just start to extend both legs out. Let your left arm and your right arm create that T shape. They might even come a little bit more by your side. Feel a gentle rocking of the head from side to side, allowing the back of the head to stay heavy on the floor. Allow the body to stay nice and heavy here. Feeling as if the edges of your body are gently melting into the mat. Continuing to allow the breath to move with intention. You are welcome to stay right here, right where you are. Or if you like, you can spend the remainder of Shavasana coming into a fetal position, just allowing any pressure to come out of the low back. Don't instantly go one way or another. Take a moment to check in and see what your body needs today. Finding a place where you can really allow yourself to let go. Just for these next few minutes. Just starting to bring some awareness back into the space. Starting to bring some awareness back into the body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Rolling out wrists and ankles. And rocking your head from side to side. Stretching your arms up overhead. And starting to roll on to your right side. And when you're ready, starting to press yourself up, coming into a comfortable seat. Keeping your focus inside. Bringing your hands to your heart center, gently bow your head. Thank yourself for making it to your mat today, for your practice, for your energy, for your breath, and most importantly, for yourself. Namaste.
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.